Hey YouTube, Peter Grizz here. Today I want to take a minute to talk about another recent acquisition, and that is a late 70s, circa 1976, 1977-ish Salesman. The Salesman is an 84 millimeter model, which is essentially the small version of the Super Tinker. So if you like the Super Tinker, this is like the Super Tinker, but even better because it's just a 1/4 inch smaller at about roughly 3 1/4 inch length, or 84 millimeters. This one dates to somewhere between 75 and 78 based on the features it has. Has the usual opening layer, which of course does not have a Swiss patent mark on it because that ended in 71. It has a regular bottle opener slash screwdriver, and it still has the wire stripper here, but it does not have the sharpened curve on the inside for stripping cables, and that's something they ditched in the mid-70s. Has the wonderful 84 millimeter scissors. They have a screw rivet and a double leaf spring. The spring changed from single to double around 75. The 84 millimeters were a little later to catch up. I do believe this is the original spring though, because this knife was in very lightly to not used condition when I got it. Has a small pen blade. Another way you can date your Swiss Army knife is if it was before 1973, it would have a clip blade. There are some from 73 and possibly 75 that still have clip blades, especially on 84 millimeters, because they seem to switch the 91 millimeter lines first and then catch up with the 84 millimeter lines. But having this definitely puts it after 73, possibly after 75. But that's the current blade that what you'll see on those knives till today. And the large main blade, which has the normal 4-line Victorinox stamp with the large V, and the crossbow Officer Swiss on the back, which later they ditched the crossbow and it just says Officer Swiss. Has a reamer with no hole in it, which, if you know that the reamers, on modern knives have the hole in it for the sewing eye in it. That's starting in 85, so when you don't see the hole in the reamer, you can safely date the knife to prior 1985. And finally, it has the square Phillips driver on the back. It does not have the file. That stopped sometime in the early 70s. It does have the slot to use as a can key, like on old cans of Spam and whatnot that came with the little key stuck to the top, and you broke the key off and put the little slot of tin in it and turned it all around to open it. I'm sure, most people under the age of 40 probably have never seen a can like that, which means I'm just getting old. Now, similar models to it are, the base model for this would basically be the Tinker Small. And this is from roughly the same era, maybe a little later. I believe these tweezers were replaced. But the Tinker Small just has the main blade and opening layer without the scissors. This one still has the square Phillips, so that puts it before 85. It is somewhere without the file, puts it somewhere between the early 70s and 1985. And it has a reamer with no hole in it. I believe this may have had metal. The older tweezers seem to have a bigger head on them, and this one's sunken in there, which is why I think it's either replaced or from a smaller knife, but I do not believe those are the original tweezers. And the other model you can compare it to is, of course, one of my favorites, the Small Climber. The only difference between this and the Salesman is that the Small Climber has a corkscrew rather than a Phillips driver. This one happens to have a clip blade, which safely puts it before 73, 74-ish. Some of these dates, you'll see exact dates, but you can always find examples that it's slightly on the outside edge because they don't just decide one day to stop using a part when they have, possibly hundreds of thousands or more of those parts still in stock. So they will just use them until they run out, as long as that takes. So these cutoff dates aren't always just a clean switch. But it also does not have a Swiss patent, which the Swiss patent, or a cross with the word PAT on it, would indicate that it was from 1971 or earlier. So when it doesn't have that, you can know it be after 1971. Having the clip blade, you can safely say it's before 73 or 74. So basically, you've narrowed this down to roughly around 1972. Anyway, that's about it. Quick little video. Thanks for watching. I appreciate everybody's comments and support. And I will see you in the next one. Take care. Petey Grizz out.